right here. Rolling, rolling, rolling. What you gonna do? Rolling, rolling. What you gonna do?
Welcome to the Man United stream. Hope you're doing well. It is Thursday morning and we've got lots of transfer news coming your way. Yes, might not be the January transfer window, but we have got transfer news coming your way. Baleba, Wharton, Diomande. Yes, these names are being linked to Man United and these players are in favour of a move to Old Trafford. That's what we're hearing. But will this cost us? Will this deficiency of not going out and signing someone in the January transfer window cost Man United a Champions League spot or even the title? That's what I've been saying all this week. I've been saying, look, we need to go out there and get more signings to show ambition, to show that we mean business. We need to make sure that we are still in touch with the rest of them. Right? There's Liverpool, City, Chelsea's, they're all making signings or they're looking at making signings and improving the teams that they've already got. Why are we not doing the same thing? Why are we not going out there and ensuring that we definitely make sure that we get Champions League football? We're going to discuss that and lots more. I mean, we've also got news on Dogu getting the Premier League Player of the Month. Great news there. I mean, that is what we want to hear. We want to hear news about players at United doing well. But let's first jump onto this story about United not making any signings in the January transfer window. Now, we had a long show yesterday discussing more or less the same thing about the INEOS not putting any money in, and same thing with the Glazers. But we're hearing from sources close to Man United that not everybody at United is happy with not going out there and signing someone in the January transfer window. There's some figures, some senior figures at United who are reluctant to come out and say, look, we need to go out and make signings, but they, behind closed doors, they do believe that Man United should be going and strengthening the team in this window. We've literally got, 3-4 days left. There's talk of maybe loan moves here and there, but let's get serious. We're not hearing anything from anybody saying that United are in for this player or that player. No one is linking us, and that's really weird because normally there's always lots of noise around United being linked with the players, but this time round it is deadly silent. It's scary how silent we are, but we're being told again and again from other sources linked to INEOS that, look, sit back, relax, we're going to go spend big in the summer. My problem with that is that what's the point? What's the point spending big in the summer if we can't achieve our goals for this season? And most of these players will only come to United if we have Champions League football. Now, we've got Wharton up on the thumbnail today because we've got interesting news concerning Wharton and he hasn't ruled out moving to Man United. That's what we're hearing now from sources. His representatives have said that, look, he's not made any decision to join any club. He's not decided on going to Liverpool like we've heard this week or Man City or anybody else. He is open to move to any club, including Man United, as long as he can get what he is looking for. His agent himself has actually come out. He came out actually a couple of weeks ago on TalkSport. I remember listening to him and he said, look, we've not had any contact from United or any other club and my player is aware that he has got this interest and he does want to concentrate on the World Cup, but of course he knows his future lies elsewhere and not at Crystal Palace. The guy's going to be playing in the World Cup for England. Of course he knows he's got to move away from Crystal Palace and go to a top club in the Premier League, if not Europe. Now, we heard that even Real Madrid were looking closely at Wharton. Now, yesterday they had a shambolic performance in the Champions League. I don't know whether you caught that. Jose Mourinho, what a man. He just keeps on giving, doesn't he? Does not stop with these momentous Champions League occasions, does he? These iconic moments only come from Jose Mourinho, man. He comes out with them. And yesterday, the guy came and he actually did a job on his former club, Real Madrid. What performance. What a great manager he was, man. And still is. Let's be honest, he's still a very good manager. I think he's going to go on to manage Portugal sooner or later. I think Benfica is the first step, and then next is he's going to go off to the manage the international team. But now, look, let me come back to transfers and why I'm not happy that we're not spending in the summer. In the January transfer window. We know what we've been told, that we're going to spend big during the summer transfer window. But my concern is, look, we've got an opportunity here to actually make a difference. Yes, we're sat in fourth right now, and yes, we are sitting pretty to some degree. But look, the teams below us are fighting to get up in the top four, and it just takes one game or two games to slip back down the table. This is a strange Premier League season. Everyone watching will concede that it's an absolute weird season, because there's no one team, maybe you could argue Arsenal, who've sat consistently up in the top four, and you can say, right, okay, they're definitely not coming out of there. It's just strange. Teams are losing to games that you probably don't expect them to lose, and this is a season where the top four are not immune to falling right back down to out of the top 10. That's how crazy it is, how the points line up. But I have said it from day one, well, actually from not day one, but from when we won against Arsenal, that we've got a chance, guys. We've got a chance to compete for the league right now. There's plenty of games left, plenty of time, and let me show you what these are the times that teams have caught up a large deficit and won the league from this stage of the season. So if you can see here, Man United have done it 4 times out of the last 6 times it's happened. Yes, United have got experience, have got pedigree, have got heritage of doing this before. So this is why I've been saying, look, guys, we can make this up. 12 points. So we made it up in 1992-93 season. We made up 12 points to go and win the league. Again, in the 95-96 we made 12 points up. Then it's 96-97, 10 points. We came back from 10 points. Then Arsenal have done it with 13 points. I mean, that's crazy. Right now, we can do it. 10 points, and then again, City with 10 points. Now, look, I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but why not go and achieve that? And then, look, if we fail, at least we've got Champions League football and we're not crying about dropping out of the top 4. So with me, I always think, look, aim higher. Even if you fail, you're not disappointed. I don't want to be like saying, oh, let's just stick with top 4 and we get 4th place and we're happy with it. Because if we slip up, we get completely nothing. I mean, Europa League football is not on my radar. I will not be happy with that. I'm sure someone made a comment the other day saying, oh, look, we'll get Europa League. And I was like, who cares about Europa League? We want to attract players in the summer. There's no point having a big budget for the summer spend and say, right, we're going to go and spend 200 million plus and blah, blah, blah. What's the point of having all that budget if no player wants to come to us? I doubt Wharton will want to come to us. I doubt even Baleba. Well, Baleba actually is, he's definitely coming. I mean, the sources now are saying, well, it's hands-on. Baleba is coming. It's just a matter of who will join him, whether it be Wharton or Anderson. Now, every week it changes. 1 minute we're saying it's going to be Anderson. Next time we hear it's Wharton. Now we're talking about Anderson, but we know that we've got a harder fight for Anderson, and the reason being is because City are in for Anderson. They really like him, they really want him, they feel like he is a very good replacement for someone like Rodri as a deputy or someone there. Sometimes I feel you see City when Rodri's out or he's injured, City do not look like the same team, so they are desperate to find a replacement for Rodri, someone who can do as a good job as him. And Anderson seems to be their man, but who knows, man? Who knows what happens in this season? It might be that, we play such a great season under Carrick, and everyone who's watching is watching United play all this exciting, sexy football. You know what I'm talking about. And then, it could be that players are attracted to that kind of football. They want to come to a team that's vibing, team that's actually cooking, team that looks like it's going places. City, in the last couple of seasons, they've been a bit checkered. They've been up and down. Sometimes they look like they're doing well, and then suddenly, boom, they go into a complete free fall. And yeah, I don't know what to make of it. I don't know whether it's just Pep who's had enough and he wants out, and then he's not doing what he used to do with the players and, really demand the best from them. I don't know what it is, but it seems like he's not up to his normal standards. Anyway, other news concerning Zirkzee. Yes, that player that we do have still at the club. He hasn't featured a lot, but he's still at United. Zirkzee, we're hearing, could be on the on the horizon. Zirkzee could be going off on loan. Now, we've been discussing this for some time. We thought, it's going to be straight away within the first week of January. Zirkzee's going to be gone. However, United have stalled it until they found somebody else to bring in. But now we're hearing that Zirkzee could be going off to the Turkish league. Fenerbahce are really pushing this deal, trying to get this loan done, and we could get a loan move for Zirkzee in the last couple of days before the transfer window closes. So watch this space. That is breaking news. I'm not sure whether United will allow it, whether Carrick sees Zirkzee as someone who he can still utilise in this team. I believe he can. I believe he can still get the best out of Zirkzee. I think he's not even giving him an opportunity, which is strange, because you think that Carrick might give him a chance, but we'll have to wait and see. Or maybe he's seen so much in training and he's realised, look, he's not the guy for us, and we can't utilise him. So let him be. And obviously, coming back to the other targets that we've got on the shortlist, I forgot to mention Diomande. Yes, the young winger who's playing for RB Leipzig, another player that is on United's radar in the summer. He's a name that's been mentioned a couple of months ago. We remember talking about him and it went quiet on him, but now again we've started to hear more noises about him and United having him on that shortlist. In fact, he's up there with the attacking players. So United still feel that they need a few attacking players in the summer, and he's up there as one young player that really excites the board. By the way, this is also being pushed by Christopher Vivell. He's got links with RB Leipzig. He knows the German league really well, hence why we've been linked to Stiller time and time again. Again, another top player from the Bundesliga, highly regarded. Angelo Stiller is someone that everybody in the top Europe's elite football clubs are looking at, and he will, mark my words, end up at one of the big clubs, whether it's Real Madrid, PSG. They will be watching him very carefully, and I think if we can get our hands on someone like that, absolutely go and do it. Question is whether United will actually put their money down in the summer and get these deals done. And of course, if they can attract these players. And that's my biggest worry right now. My biggest worry isn't that we're not going to spend money. I still think, yes, okay, INEOS will be forced to spend money. But if they cannot attract the players that we are looking at, then there's no point. And the only way you're going to attract these players is if you qualify for Champions League. It's like a cycle, isn't it? You need to qualify for Champions League to get the best players. But obviously, to qualify for the Champions League, you need a decent team. Right now, we've got a good team, but I still feel like we've still got one or two pieces that are missing in this jigsaw. And if we can get them in right now before the bloody transfer window closes in a couple of days, we can succeed in our mission of qualifying for Champions League. Anyway, let me go to the chat, because I wanted to quickly find out what everyone else is feeling like concerning this transfer window. Of course, we've got the game to look ahead as well. We'll do that tomorrow. It's a crazy weekend. We've got the protests as well to take place. I'm going to be there. I'm going to go and, of course, be there in the flesh. I'm going to take my big raincoat because I think it's going to be raining. It's Manchester. It always rains. Anyway, so look, I'll be there. I might even try and grab some fans and get some interviews done if I can, but I have to take all my kit with me, and it's not easy taking your kit with you, and then you get searched and you have to go into Old Trafford and you have to leave it. Sometimes you have to leave the kit somewhere else, and it becomes a bit of a logistical nightmare. But I might do it just for the content, just to kind of, face-to-face interviews with fans are hilarious. Sometimes you get some really, really funny interviews, and sometimes you get some interviews that you can't even put on the channel because they're just explicit and absolutely hilarious. And I might just put some on for members only, but yeah, it's seriously funny stuff. You would not believe the comments that you get when you're interviewing outside Old Trafford. Some of the fans are absolutely hilarious. But anyway, let's come to the chat. Let's see what you're making of Wharton, Diomande, and the plan to spend big in the summer. Or do you feel that we should maybe take a little bit of that budget and go and get in a loan move for one of the players like Gomez or someone else who can give us options, give Carrick some options? I feel like they're deliberately almost sabotaging Carrick's time at United. They're thinking, right, we're going to be up shit's creek if this guy does really well, because then we're going to have to employ him, and our best laid plans for bringing in Tuchel or somebody else might go down the drain. Anyway, let's go. Stephanie, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good day yesterday. It was a great show yesterday. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the interaction with everybody. Neville, welcome. Hope you're doing well. I did manage to read your comments, so do not think I do not read comments, guys. I read everyone's comments, and Neville, of course, you could quite easily write a whole book. I think that's how good you are at writing, man. You left a comment and I read it all, and it's funny how you mentioned Diomande, and today we're talking about him, and the news is breaking. So either you got something, you got some sources in there, who's told you all this. But yeah, Neville, Diomande will be expensive, but if we don't sign him, a rival will. He's only 19. He's international teammates with Ahmad. He'd be better than Semenyo in a couple of years, I guarantee it. Well, this is it. This is why you need to go out there and sign young players who are on the cusp of greatness. And Diomande is really highly rated in the Bundesliga. Now, can he come and replicate that in the Premier League? I don't know, but he's definitely someone that the Europe's elite are tapping up. PSG, we're hearing, have got him on their radar as well. I think he looks good. Can he do it at United? Can he do it in the Premier League? Question mark. But look, we're going to only have to find out. But then the cost of him is putting me off, I must admit. The cost of what we're hearing is 70, 80 million plus to get him in. I just feel like that's a lot of money for someone who we're not 100% sure about right now. So yeah. Interesting. United's windows are boarded up. Yeah, sadly, yeah. I mean, that is so true. Right now, there's nothing coming out of United in terms of transfers, even loan moves. And I'm left gobsmacked, I must admit. I'm sat here thinking, surely my phone's going to get a text here and there, and I'll get a message saying, oh, look, actually, United have gone and made a move for this guy, or made a move for that guy, or they've decided to make a loan move for him. Nothing. It's just silent. I look at my phone thinking, right, as soon as it pings, I think, oh, here we go. I've got a message saying, yes, United are making a move for this person or that player. Nothing. It's just rubbish news about, there's United plan for this and plan for that, and it's like, what? And there's other clubs, making their loan moves and signings. But yeah, I just feel like because of the manager situation, but then would it have been different with Ruben Amorim here? Would he have got any signings? Would he have even got any loan moves in? The question is, yeah, I think he would have. I think he would have at least got a loan move, right? It's just strange behaviour. But I just feel like they haven't got the money. And they're just playing it. They're just playing everyone and saying, yeah, we're going to spend big in the summer. I think this is a huge risk to wait and put all your eggs in the summer transfer window. Huge risk, especially if some of these players are already gone by then. So we're assuming it's only us going into the shop. We're assuming that we're the only ones shopping. And we're going to go in there and we're going to have first choice from all these players, like Diomande, like Neville just said. He's been scouted by Europe's most of clubs around Europe. Same thing with Wharton. Same thing with Anderson. okay, Belaber, we're hearing United have boxed off. They've got him, they've agreed everything, and it's just a matter of time now for them to agree the finer details with Brighton, and he will be a Man United player in the summer, bar something crazy happening where, Brighton turn around and say, we want double the money, or we've changed our mind, or another club comes in and tries to hijack the move, which, again, is possible. This is football. We've seen it in transfers that this happens. So, yeah, United need to be careful. We're all assuming, we're going to have the money to go and spend, but who won? The players might not be there. The players might have gone by then. Clubs start negotiations early. There'll be negotiations going on right now with players to come and join in the summer. That's how the transfers work nowadays. It's not lastminute.com anymore, unfortunately. And United, let's be honest, they're pretty good at lastminute.com stuff. Diomande and Dogu in our attack is crazy. But we aren't making any January moves. Yeah, definitely not. Sign him, please, says Steph. They're absolute morons, man. We could have literally consolidated fourth place with a solid midfielder. INEOS had a chance to send a message of ambition to fans. It makes no business sense. It's a risk. Spot on. I think that deserves some applause there. Deserves some applause. That is... In a nutshell, what we need to get across to everybody. We could go and guarantee ourselves Champions League football by going out there and just getting one solid midfielder right in this team. We know that's what's lacking. We know if we get an injury or Casemiro is suspended, which it's a high chance of happening, because let's be honest, he does not hold his punches. Not that I'm complaining. I like him doing that. I like him putting his body on the line and going in there, no nonsense approach. But there is a risk that he could end up getting suspended in a crucial set of fixtures. If we've got someone else who we can bring in who's ideal to slot in there as another Casemiro, it would be brilliant. Ugarte, unfortunately, I don't feel like he's played well enough. I don't think he does well enough when he comes. He's got like less composure on the ball. He's aggressive. I don't mind that about him, but hasn't got the pass in him. He hasn't got the composure to hold on to the ball, look up, and see exactly where the ball needs to go. He almost needs babysitting, and they're absolutely So we've done that. And Benfica goalkeeper scoring a bullet header, poetry. Oh my god, yeah, that was crazy. I was watching the video this morning about how Mourinho's shouting at him, saying "Go up," and this is crazy, by the way, because it was goal difference. They needed that goal to get in to the playoffs, and what a sensational win against Real Madrid, who are all over the place, aren't they? I mean, if only they could have, they could employ someone like Carrick and come in and stabilise everything, but they've gone from bad to worse, haven't they? I mean, and now probably they're thinking, we should have just held on to Alonso at this rate. The Benfica goalkeeper, do you know what? The crazy thing about Real Madrid is that they're lacking a lot of players. The defence, they've got a lot of injuries. And hence their defence is a makeshift defence. If you start looking through the list of players that are out, I mean, that's crazy. There's a million reasons to be angry about the lack of movement in January. It would almost guarantee us fourth place if we strengthen midfield. Our owners are literally counting on no injuries. Well, look, I think they are counting on no injuries. What they are hoping for is that, look, they've got less games to play. We haven't got a lot of games, and they're thinking the players won't be stretched. We've got plenty of players who will be rested, well rested. So we've got enough to rotate in the Premier League. We've got about 16 games or whatever, 15 games left. So it's not going to be difficult. That's what I think they're thinking, and that's what they've sat down and had meetings about and said, look, worst case scenario, we'll have always somebody else who can step in. My worry is that if we have an injury in one of the key areas of the pitch, we could end up regretting it. That's the only issue. So I guess, look, this is why the protests are going ahead on the weekend. This is why, because many fans are still not happy with the ambition shown by INEOS and the Glazers. But I guess it's INEOS mainly now with the footballing side of things. But yes, we need to show more aggression. We need to guarantee ourselves these positions. No one's going to come and hand it to us on a plate. No one's going to say, there's Champions League football. Don't worry, United. You've got it. There you go. No one's going to do that. No one will do that. There'll be teams below us who are going to be itching and working hard to kick us out of them positions. We must continue with winning run as long as possible. Yeah, 100%. We do need to do that. Premier League wins must be a target 10 more to go. Yes, I think, look, I'm taking it a game at a time. I don't want to get carried away, but I also know that, look, we need to start looking at the long-term position right now. We need to start looking at, right, okay, we need to qualify for Champions. We need to have an aim in place. We can't have just headlessly going and just saying, yeah, we're playing, we don't know what for, but we're just going to take it a game at a time. We need to have some kind of projection and say, right, okay, this is what we need to get to our spot, which is insane. Imagine Manu gets a wee knock and he has to miss just a couple of games. That's Ugate's town. Travis Broad dropped points at crucial time, plus 3 midfielders is a lot to gel in one. Yeah, look, I agree. We've got midfield just looks weak for us, as has done since the start of the season. I will only agree with you that we can still compete if in the league if Carrick changes his lineups and tactics against low blocks like Fulham and comes away with 3 points. Good point there, Luman. Good point. Good, very, very good point, because this Fulham game should not be taken lightly. This is going to be just as a bigger test as the 2 games that we've just had because of the opposition. We're playing a different opposition to what we played against City and Arsenal. We have this season, even with Ruben Amorim, done pretty well with the top teams. We've beaten them and we've looked good against the top teams. The teams that we've looked totally rubbish against are the low block teams, the lesser oppositions, as we might like to call it, the lesser opposition. They're not. Every team in the Premier League is good right now. The Premier League is very competitive. And that's why this Fulham game is not going to be easy. And I don't believe it is. And look, man, you've made a really good point, which is that, yeah, we need to see how Carrick deals with this low block side kind of team. Yeah, if we can succeed against Fulham, that is for me another huge tick in place of Carrick and his management. It's a massive test. If we can get 3 points, like you say, Fulham against Fulham, 3 points against them, it will be massive, because then we know, right, okay, we're cooking. We are cooking. We know where we're going then. We know, right, okay, we've got a manager who can deal with these low block teams who we've traditionally this season struggled. In fact, for several years, we've struggled against them kind of opposition, that kind of opposition that doesn't want to attack, will defend with 10 men and have one striker who's going to try who they're going to try and counter us with. They've done it before, and if they do it again, we will struggle. A chance to play with Manu and Bruno in midfield must be an incentive, surely, for new midfielders' arrival as well as Champions League qualification. Yeah, absolutely, man. I think the attraction of playing in a team that's cooking, the players around you are really good. Bruno Fernandes, one of the best in the Premier League. That's an attraction to midfield players playing elsewhere. They want to join in on a successful team. Baleba is one of the least convinced about. Anderson will only go to City over us because whatever we offer him in wage, they'll almost double. It's the mindset I don't want to have. Or it's that if that's his mindset, I don't want to have him. You're talking about Baleba. Yeah, look, Baleba is a question mark even for me. Would I take him in the January transfer window? Yes, I would have. I would have loved for United to go on and sign him. And even in the summer, if we are not able to get our other key targets, is Baleba a go-ahead for me? Yes, it is. Even though I do have the same question marks that you have about his up and down season and his reluctance to play, if it's his reluctance or whether he's actually is not in good form right now. But if it's not, the boy has taste. Welcome to United, Elliot. Look, I'd love for someone like that to come in. Definitely. Temez, welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. Oh, you always have a list. I love this. I love Temez because he comes in with a list. And do you know what? Sometimes, I'm not a man for lists, but sometimes, you got a dream. Sometimes they come true, right? So you might as well put it down in a shopping list. Neves, Wharton, Anderson, Diomande to United is better. Also, make plan for signing Boy. You've said that as well. Sadio Mane or Moussa Diaby. I think he's going off. Diaby's going off somewhere. I did see the news yesterday about him going off somewhere, some of the club, I can't remember which one. Zirkzee deal to Roma and Ugarte deal to Ajax being blocked is insane. An actual real club with living, breathing staff were going to give us actual money for Ugarte and we declined. Make sense of that. Look, I think this is the problem with what we've got with the owners. This is the owners. This absolutely typifies the owners and their approach to how they're going to fix United, because they're looking at easy options. They're looking at keeping players here so they don't have the pressure to go out there and buy more players. That's what all it is. It comes down to they don't want the pressure to go out there and sign more players. Simple. They just want to have life easy right now. They're thinking, right, let's keep the players we've got and it's easier. So, snapping Diomande up now, and then we'll be missing Dogu as much. Diomande, is just another Dogu. If we had the foresight, we haven't got the foresight. Marta, welcome. With Amrin, we would not have conceded 2 goals against Arsenal and had scored a third against Man City. Right, Neville. Right, I don't know whether that's opening a can of worms there, Marta. You're stirring the pot here. You're stirring the pot with Neville. I probably could finish a book the amount of time to type Travis. Nah, I enjoy it. I enjoy your comments, man. I feel like he's a Mamouche type of player. He'd handle the Prem. Diomande, that's a high compliment, high praise indeed, because Mamouche is a very, very good player. I really like Mamouche. I think when City were rumoured to sign him, and I was thinking, please, United, just go and sign this guy. This guy's really good, and he will be sensational in the coming years. I think once he settles in, he'll get even better. He's had an up and down season so far, but I still feel like he's a very good player. Dave, welcome. Dave says, in the summer window, the first signings that should be joining the club should be midfielders. Yep, 100% agree. Let's get that sorted out and then sign players from other positions. Yeah, 100%. We need to sort that midfield out. It's just our biggest Achilles heel right now. Everyone can see it. The opposition can see it. The opposition teams know where to target United. That we haven't got a huge weakness anywhere else on the pitch, but they do know that, look, if they run us ragged in the midfield, we haven't got the players to carry on the full 90 minutes. I think one of the most pivotal games this season was against Spurs. We were in control of that game. Spurs did not look like they were going to hurt us in that game. But second half, what they did was they piled in players into that midfield and they just simply created so many chances, chance after chance. It's another one of those games under Amrin, which I thought we should have won. This is why we have to be ruthless in the transfer window again, because the club is obsessed with going up against teams with a far bigger budget. We should be making some sales, freeing up lots of wage. Yeah, look, it is good. It is good that we're doing that. I think the Casemiro thing, I wasn't disappointed. I like Casemiro. I like what he's done for the club, but I still feel like, that's some money that we can save and hopefully spend on other players. What I don't want to see is INEOS saying, oh, thank you very much for that 350k that we're going to be saving, but we're not going to go and buy anybody and we're not going to go and pay anybody the wage that's they're requesting. That's my worry. I just feel like, are we saving for INEOS' sake, or are we saving for going out there and buying somebody else? Carrick is trying to give confidence and build relationship with the players and trying to win them so he could get the best from them. Any incoming player or players would disrupt that bond. Well, look, I'm really, really impressed. I must admit, I'm really impressed in the way Carrick has built up a rapport with the players. I wasn't expecting that. I really wasn't. For me, Carrick, I always felt like was a quiet kind of guy, someone who didn't really show much emotion. I thought, would he even be be open with the players? Would he chat with them? How would he talk to them? Would he get them to open up with him? But I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Even after the Arsenal game, watching Carrick walk onto the pitch, hugging Kuna and putting his arm around Sesko, talking to him, saying something to him. I don't know what it was, but Sesko was happy to hear whatever he had to say. It was really pivotal for me, and I started changing my mind a little bit on Carrick and his man management. I thought he was going to be weak on that front. I thought, look, Carrick is going to struggle, but he's impressed me. He has impressed me. Hands down, he has impressed me. For this January, they should have already signed Ndie, then get Gomez on loan for I said it, I think 2 days ago. I said we should be looking at Gomez as a midfield option, loan option should be there. Then waiting up until summer is worrying, considering a team like Villa have made signings. Yeah, look, this is it. Villa, a team that's above us right now, they're strengthening their squad. It makes sense. They're doubling down. They're doubling down on what they have because they know, like, okay, we go again. We've got this opportunity. Let's not let it go out of our hands. That's all it is. For me, it's really, really important that we could have done that, but unfortunately we haven't. We just haven't done that. I don't know what reason they're going to give us. Of course, they're going to, in hindsight, they might turn around and tell us all sorts. But anyway, guys, I'm going to have to leave it there. Hope you're going to enjoy the rest of your day. I've got to go. I didn't want to make it too long. But anyway, you take it easy, and I will catch you later, guys. Thank you for everyone who's made the comments and everything else, and I will be back hopefully later on tonight with another update show. So take care,